Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. You might want to grab yourself a cup of coffee, ice water, tea, whatever you drink, because I have a feeling this video is going to be pretty lengthy. So welcome back everybody. So today's video I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I do these every few months because I usually get new people and then I get questions in my comments about different things, and it's just easy just every few months to sit down and do a Q&A for y'all and answer any questions that you might have about me or my family. So that is what I am doing today. I'm going to answer any questions that y'all had. I had a pretty good many over on my YouTube community tabs. I'm going to answer those today, but first of all, before we jump into the questions, if you're new to my channel, my name is Shasta. I'm a homeschooling mom to 9 girls. My husband and I have been married for 17 years. Y'all, I cannot believe that. It doesn't feel like it's been 17 years, but it has. My oldest daughter is almost 17, and then my youngest daughter is a little bit over 1. Yes, we have all girls, and yes, they are all ours. My husband owns his own grading business, and then he's also a full-time pastor at our little local church. And here on this channel, I just love to share our day in the life vlogs, recipes, homemaking, homeschooling, homesteading, all that good stuff. And if any of that interests you and you want to follow along on our large family life vlogs here, just make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that little notification bell, and it will notify you of any new videos that I post through the week. I post Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. At least I do my best to get those out. So anyway, yeah, that's a little bit about me before I jump into these questions. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And if you're wondering what my choice of drink is today, if you already follow me here, then you know it's coffee. It is hot coffee. I like hot and iced coffee, but this is Folgers caramel drizzle coffee with pumpkin spice creamer. My favorite, my absolute favorite together. One more thing, Josh would have normally done this Q&A with me. He done the last one with me, but our schedules just have not been able to align this time to be able to do it. So anyway, he's at work right now, and I just have the perfect opportunity to film this. I'm just go ahead and get it done, and hopefully he can help me with the next one, answer some questions. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. First question says, can you explain more why the private school was a good option? What were the pros and cons, and why did you decide to go back to homeschooling the older girls? Private school just wasn't a good option for our family. I know it is for many families, but we have homeschooled like since my oldest daughter was in kindergarten. I've told y'all this before. So we decided to give it a try for a year, and it just didn't work for our family. I missed the dynamic of our family being together and homeschooling all together. I was only homeschooling my little kids, and then my big girls were kind of doing their own thing in their rooms with their homework and all of that, and I just missed the dynamic of homeschooling. So I brought them back home this year, like y'all know, and I'm homeschooling everybody this year. I'm homeschooling 6 this year. We're on week 2, and it has just been such a blessing. I'm so happy to have them back home. But like I said, at that time last year, we chose private school. There's always a silver lining. It was a blessing to us because we had a newborn baby. So it took a little bit off of me, but I'm so glad to have them back home, and I wouldn't trade homeschooling for anything. It says, I would love to hear how you both got saved. So I can't answer. I'm gonna let Josh answer his for himself. Like I said, hopefully in the next Q&A we can sit down together. But as for me, I actually got saved in 2008. So it was that like 14 years ago, I think. But we were married. We had 2 kids together so far, Josh and I did. And I think it's just when we kind of hit rock bottom. Like it was to that point of almost like, I don't think we could do this anymore. Like divorce was even mentioned. It was just one of those places. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Marriage just hits rock bottom. Everything was falling apart. We had 2 kids. I didn't like the way life was going. We had visited a few churches, you know, here and there, and actually at the time he was not on board going to church with me, which is so funny because now he's a pastor. And y'all, I'm just telling you, God works things out. He really does, because he was a man that didn't even want to go to church with me, wouldn't even entertain the thought much, and here he is encouraging our family to stay in church and to go to church and pastoring a church. Anyway, that's a whole nother story on its own that I might let him tell y'all another time. But anyway, I just felt that tugging in my heart, and I was actually in my bathroom at the time, and I was crying, and I was just like, Lord, I need help. And that's just when I came to the knowledge of Christ, and I just called out to him and I begged him to save me and to forgive me. I had actually been reading my Bible a little bit here and there before I got saved. It was just things like speaking directly to me in my heart and about my marriage. So I took all of that and I just cried out to the Lord, and he saved me, and I'm so thankful that he did, because once he saved me, I started praying earnestly for Josh, and I don't know how long it was after that. 2 years, maybe 1 or 2 years. He felt the tug of his heart, and when he came to me and told me that, it just blew my mind. But I'm telling y'all, God can work things out. So he also got saved, and we've been Christians ever since then. Not a perfect walk by no means, but I'm just so thankful where God has brought us from. All right, next question says, I have just recently joined your channel and I am really enjoying it. Curious what your husband does for a living and what curriculum you use. So I mentioned at the beginning, my husband has a grading business, also a full-time pastor. The curriculum that we're using this year is mostly Bob Jones and Abeka. I'm also using master books, Gather Round. So yeah, just kind of a mix of things this year that we're really enjoying. The next one says, how did y'all meet? Did you know right away he was the right husband for you? So we actually met in middle school. We went to middle school together and we never talked, like ever. And then one day in 8th grade, he was walking behind me and he called me by my last name. And I looked back and I thought he was just aggravating me. So anyway, I didn't pay any attention, but shortly after that, he ended up calling me at my house and we started talking, and we were, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend. It's not really dating when you're in 8th grade, but we talked a little bit. We actually talked until the 9th grade. We ended up breaking up in the 9th grade. Here's the funny part, y'all. We broke up in the 9th grade. Did not talk to each other all again until after high school. And when we were both 18, we ended up running into each other. I was actually working at Kmart at the time, and he drove through the parking lot and stopped and talked to me, gave me his phone number. And shortly after that, I ended up just calling him and saying, you know, hey, how are you? And the rest is history. We've been together ever since then. So that's kind of funny. We were boyfriend and girlfriend, broke up for years, got back together, and here we are 17 years later. We've been married. All right, what is the most challenging thing about having a large family and being a pastor's wife? So having a large family, I guess for me, it's just trying to divide my attention between everyone, which we do a pretty good job at that. Like, we try to make each child feel special in some way, whatever that may be, whether it's talking to them about what they enjoy, taking them to do what they enjoy, things like that. So we do try to divide our attention where everybody feels special, and it's not always just as a group. Like, sometimes we'll take girls out individually, either take them out to eat, for ice cream, fishing. Like tonight, I'm taking my 3 oldest girls to go shopping with me for just a little while, just doing things one-on-one to make them feel special. So I guess that would be the most challenging part, but we're kind of working through that with doing things one-on-one with them. And the most challenging thing about being a pastor's wife, I really don't know how to answer that. I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't know, because it definitely comes with its challenges. I don't know what the most challenging thing about it would be. I don't know. I would have to think about that one. All right, this one says, as a former homeschool mama who did end up sending her kids to public school, have you ever had a child ask to go to public school, and how did you respond? Last year, I'm actually the one that brought up private school. My children are not interested at all in going to public school, but we had mentioned the private school, and at first they were kind of on board and kind of not, and then they decided, yes, we want to try this. And they enjoyed it, and they did enjoy it. I mean, they enjoyed all the friendships that they made. I don't think they enjoyed all the work that was that they had at this school. So anyway, no, none of my kids have really shown interest though to go to public school. So also, what are your goals for your homestead 5 to 10 years down the road? So we don't really have any huge goals as homesteaders. We're just doing what we can when we can here and there. We've got just very few things preserved right now. We have chickens, so not any really big goals. I know we had mentioned getting goats at one time, but we've kind of put that off just because we've been so busy with other things. So no real big goals as far as a homestead. How will you guys handle the girls dating and rules for dating when the time comes? So as far as dating, when the girls do meet somebody that they like, we have to meet the person, and then if we allow them to go out on a date, then they have to have a sister as a chaperone. That's just the way we're going to do things to keep people accountable. They're welcome to come to our house and hang out, or if they want to go somewhere, and this is talking like 17 and up. I don't think I would let my girls date any younger than 17, so they would have a sister as a chaperone, and that's just the way we're going to do things. The next question says, how did you both know you had found the right person to marry, and were you Christians at the time? So no, neither one of us were Christians at the time. We didn't come to know Christ to be saved until in our marriage. But I don't know, to know we were right for each other, I don't think we could really say that in middle and high school, since we broke up, because we were so off and on, and like it was crazy. But after high school, we got back together. When we met, when we were 18, we were just sitting there talking. I don't know, I just felt it then that we were just meant to be together. I just felt that he was the one for me, and he felt the same way. There was no other, and here we are today. All right, next one says, my question is, do you have a cleaning schedule you could share? Do you have 5 of your very best money saving tips? So cleaning schedule, I don't really have a cleaning schedule. I just know what has to be done daily, and we just do it. Like, the girls know their chores. Oldest girls all have chores in place, and they know what those are, and when those are ready to be done, they just do it. Sometimes I do have to remind some of them, but most of the time they're really good about getting their chores done. And then I have my things I just know that I'm going to do daily, and I just get those things done. I just wake up in the morning and start. A lot of times though, I would like to do some stuff at night. If I know in the morning I'm going to need certain pots and pans, I'll go ahead and lay that out so that it's easier in the morning. So trying to do little things at night for your morning, help you prepare for your morning, really helps a lot. So that's a big tip there. As far as money saving tips, for us, for the girls, like, we shop secondhand. As I've gotten teenagers though, they are not really in the consignment store I shop at. They have a few, like a very small selection for them, but they mostly like to shop at like Old Navy. They just have a couple stores they really like, so I'll watch for sales for my teenagers. When things go on sale, I'll order it. Same for my little kids. We shop for them at our local consignment store, and we get all that we can there. We've been shopping there for years, y'all. And whatever we can't find, we watch for sales and deals, and we get them then. Like, for example, Children's Place, sometimes if we can't find what we need at the consignment store, they will have like these huge sales, and you can get like long sleeve shirts for $5 and jackets for $20. So I just watch for sales throughout the spring or the fall or whatever, and if I know they're going to need something, if it's on sale, I go ahead and grab it while it's on sale. That's kind of how we work things. So that would be one thing, is shopping secondhand or waiting on sales. I don't know, I would have to sit down and make a list of different money saving tips, but that is one of them. Another one is, when I cook dinner, I don't cook more than what we're going to need. I know people think, since we're a large family, oh my gosh, we should be like having like this feast every single night, but we do not do that. I cook what we need. Nobody goes hungry here. A lot of times we do have leftovers for lunch the next day, but I don't like go crazy just because we are a family of 11. A lot of my little kids are very picky anyway. My 3-year-old, like, I have to beg her to eat at night. So I cook what we're gonna need, and then we'll have leftovers for lunch the next day. I don't go all out and like cook a ton. So I only buy and cook what we need. So that would be another tip. Just cook what you need. Another tip is just saving. Like, if there's something that you really want, just save for it. You'll be surprised at how fast you can get there if you want something and you're just saving for it. That way when the time comes to purchase it, you've already saved the money, and it's not really taken away from anything. It's to have like a savings for things that you want. I guess for 2 more, I'd have to think about that, but there's 3 at least, I guess. All right, so the next question says, are you guys planning to get any more animals soon? I know you mentioned goats a while back. I think I just answered this. We did mention goats, but right now, there's no more talk of goats right now. Maybe in the future, maybe we'll look at it again in the spring or something, but as of right now, no goats and no more animals. So yeah, we have a dog and chickens, and right now that is plenty for us. The next one says, how do you keep your house so clean and organized? Thank you, that's very sweet. It's not always clean and organized. like to do this video, I made sure my background looked nice for y'all. Like, so it's not always so pretty and organized, but I will say it's not just me. It's definitely not just me. It's a family thing. We work together to get things done. And when we all pitch in, like when the house just becomes a disaster, when we all pitch in, y'all, within a few minutes everything is picked up and cleaned up and tidied up. It's just amazing what so many hands can do. So if it's just you cleaning, give yourself some grace, because if it was just me doing all of this with all the people, I wouldn't be able to keep up. Because I know when my oldest girls were little and they could not help with any kind of chores or anything, it was much harder. So now that I've got big kids to help, and then Josh, he pitches in so much. Like, so if he sees the floors need to be mopped, he doesn't say anything, he just mops them. So yeah, having help really does help. Next one says, how do you handle your children not listening or following directions? So we do have a couple of kids that have a little bit of a harder time following directions, and normally we will just take something away from them or have a talk with them about it, and we just always reference Bible back to them about what the Lord says about obeying your parents. When you obey your parents, then you are also in return obeying the Lord, and we want to honor the Lord and obey the Lord, and by doing that they can honor Him and obey Him by obeying us, because that's what the Bible tells us to do. So we have used that scripture many times to them, but yeah, we just, if it finally comes down to it and they just will not listen, which I have to say the girls are pretty good about listening and following directions, but if it comes down to that, then we just take something away that means something to them if they're giving us a really hard time, and we punish them from whatever that is, whether it's a tablet or a phone or a computer, some kind of device that they enjoy. We will take that away for a short time. Normally after talking with them or making our threats of taking something away, that usually works pretty good. So you actually asked if we could do like a whole video on parenting advice with different things, and I'll talk to Josh. Maybe on our next Q&A we can do, we're still learning as we go. Trust me, we're not perfect parents, but we have had babies up to teenagers now, so maybe we could give just a little bit of advice, but nothing perfect. I can assure you that we're still learning, but maybe on our next Q&A. Can you share why the horse and puppy didn't work out? So the horse and the puppy did not work out. I think I shared this a while back. The puppy we gave to my brother-in-law and his wife. They have a little boy. It's his puppy now, and he loves him. He just wasn't working out. He was actually terrorizing our chickens, y'all. He was like just chasing them around, and he would pin them down, and they stopped laying for a while, and they were looking awful. And we had our chickens first, so we gave him, my brother-in-law and his wife does not have any chickens, so we gave him to them, and they've loved him ever since. And then the horse, we just honestly didn't have time for a horse right now. It just wasn't the right time. Horse takes a lot of attention, y'all. We had one back in 2020, I think. It takes a lot of attention, so we also sold the horse, and the horse is now in a good home. So anyway, that's kind of a little why they didn't work out. Next question says, will you ever move to a different house in the town you live in, or would you ever move to a different state? So I joke with Josh all the time and tell him I want to move to Tennessee. That's like my favorite state. I love going there to visit. It's beautiful. I don't know. There's just something about Tennessee that stills my heart every time we go there. And I've joked many times. I'm like, I want to move to Tennessee. Come on. And he's like, no, I don't want to deal with you crying at night being homesick. I'm like, I don't think I'll be homesick. I love it there, but no. But for real though, we don't have any plans on moving to another state. We don't have any plans moving to anywhere else in our town. We're very content where we are. We're very blessed, and we love the area that we're in, so we hope that we're able to stay here actually. All right, next question says, in your videos it seems you spend time alone together, running errands, dates, etc. Who watches the girls during this time? Do you have a trusted babysitter? So we do have a very trusted babysitter that we do. If we know we're going to be gone several hours, we will ask her to come and sit with all the kids. But if not, then if it's just like running errands, like you said, or just running, if we're going to be gone like 30 minutes to an hour, I have high schoolers that can sit here with my little kids, and they are totally fine. They put a movie on, so I have no problem with just leaving them here and running to whatever we need to do, which is really nice because we didn't get to do that in the past. But when you start getting girls that are older and able to babysit, it's nice. Sometimes we will take Millie with us, but a lot of times we'll just leave everybody here. So now that is how we get to do that. The next one says, I know where you stand on having more kids. Do your girls ever voice an opinion about adding more siblings? Have they ever said anything about it in the past? Do your older kids complain about having so many littles? My girls love our babies, every single one of them. Every time I have announced a pregnancy, they are just over the moon excited. We all welcome babies here. It's uplifted in our house. It's not something dreadful to us. It's just a huge blessing from God when we do expect or that we're expecting another baby, and everybody is on board. Everybody is super excited. Nobody has ever complained about more babies, so I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful for kids that love babies just as much as we do. Have you ever thought about putting a cookbook together with all of your recipes? That is so sweet of you to say that, but no, I actually have never thought about that. But I do need to write down some of my recipes, because I will look up a recipe and I'll use it, and then when I go to use it again, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was that? And I'll have to remember. So I do need to either print them out or write them down. The next question says, I was wondering when you will be starting your Christmas shopping. So that is such an exciting time of the year. I usually start around October, just buying a few things here and there. So I think I started a little bit later last year. I think I got, or the year before, there was one year I got started a lot later. I think it was when I was really pregnant with Millie. I don't remember, but I like to start sometime in October with ordering things and getting them in, because y'all, that one year I think I waited, one of my daughter's Christmas gifts like never came. I know even if I would have ordered it earlier, it may have never came, but I literally never seen that Christmas gift. I called them. It had shipped from their place, so it was kind of in USPS hands, and it's a mystery. Maybe somebody ended up, it was just a makeup kit, like a little caboodle with some makeup in it, so it may have ended up on somebody else's front porch and they enjoyed it. I don't know. The next one says, is Josh a Baptist preacher? And no, he is not a Baptist preacher. We are actually Pentecostal, which in all honesty, if you ask me, denominations really don't matter. We all need to agree on one thing, and that is that Jesus came, he died, and he rose again, and he's coming back again someday. I know people get so hung up on denominations, but so yeah, but he is a Pentecostal preacher, not Baptist. And the next question says, as you are blessed with a lovely big family, do you try and have a food budget each week to keep costs down? So years ago, I used to sit down and write down to a T like what we needed to spend that week. Now I'm just so busy, like I literally just keep a number in my head of what we really don't need to go over, but what I can spend. So with having a big family, like there's a lot of food to be bought each week, and that does add up. So I just try to keep a number in my head of what I don't need to go over. That's just kind of how I do. I don't have anything like written in stone each week, because it does change. Some weeks Millie may need diapers, so the next week she may not. We may run out of laundry detergent, which is a high price item. It's like $12. So it just all depends week to week on what we need. I do need to go to a Sam's though and stock up, y'all. Our Sam's is not around us. Y'all ask me all the time, do I not go to Sam's and stock up? It's not close to us. It's a little bit of a drive. So I'd have to take like a big chunk of my day to go and do that, which I guess it'd be worth it once a month. So I need to plan a Sam's trip. Next question says, who would you say is your biggest role model? I don't know that I have any like really big role models, honestly. So I do have like people that I like to watch and like gain wisdom from, and I don't know, there's a scripture that says iron sharpens iron. I love to watch other Christian ladies in their days, and I think that's another blessing of YouTube, is being able to watch other Christian women to uplift you and encourage you. But as far as like one certain role model, I don't really have a role model. But as far as like an earthly role model, I really don't have one. I just have like ladies that I just can draw wisdom from. I enjoy listening to and watching. Next question says, do you plan on having more children? I would love more children. I actually want another baby so bad. I've been telling Josh that I want another one, and he's fine whether we do, he's fine whether we don't. And I'm the same way. Like, I'm content if we do not have another baby ever again. I am so very thankful and so very content and blessed with the 9 girls that we do have. But y'all, I want another baby. Next question says, what is your favorite worship song and the favorite for your girls? So my worship songs like always change. I don't know. They change within seasons. Like when Millie was going through her hip dysplasia, I listened to the song Promises over and over and over again, just worshiping to that song and praying about her. I guess I would just have to think about what's my favorite worship song right now. And as far as my girls, it also changes. Like, they listen to so many worship songs. I'll hear them like playing in their room, or they'll come in here and play them on Alexa, and they always change. So yeah, their worship songs are always changing too. They like many different worship songs. They're always asking me like, Mama, what's your favorite song? And I'm like, yo, I don't even know. Like, when I hear the song, I'm like, that's my favorite song, but after it goes off, I don't remember who sang it. I don't remember the title of it or anything. But the song Promises I was just talking about is by Maverick City Music. I will try to remember to link that down below too, so that y'all can go listen to that song. That's a beautiful, beautiful song. I love it. You have to really listen to the words of it. All right, so this one says, do you have any baby names saved for the future children? Do your girls ever ask if they're expecting, or do they notice signs in you? Okay, so I'll start with, did the girls ever know that you're expecting? So every time that I announce my pregnancy, my older girls always say, I knew it, I knew you were. Like, I think since they're the oldest, they've seen many babies come. Like, they notice little signs in me, whether it's they notice me eating a little bit more than I normally do, or if I'm like extra sleepy and just wanting to sit around on the couch, that's another sign to them. And sometimes, honestly, they have just simply seen the pregnancy test. Like, I'm bad about just leaving my pregnancy test out. I'll put it like up on a shelf or something in the bathroom so that I can show Josh later or something like that, and they have actually just seen them laying around. They're like, I saw you with that pregnancy test. So that's another way that they know, honestly. It's just either a pregnancy test or little signs of me of some symptoms that they're noticing. And the other one, do you have any baby names saved for the future children? I have some that I really like, if we have any more. Josh and I agreeing is another thing. It takes us a while sometimes to actually agree on a baby name. So I will tell you a few of them though. My favorite boy names are Nathaniel. I absolutely love the name Nathaniel and call him Nate. And then I also love the name Matthew. I love the name Truett. So those are some of my favorite boy names that I really like. And then as far as girl names, I like the name Rayleigh, and I like, what was the other one? I like Finley. But the girls and Josh, I don't think any of them really like the name Finley at all, which I think is pretty cute. I think it's a cute name. All right, so the next question says, how did you tell Josh you were pregnant every time? So with my first daughter, I think she was the only one that I found out late that I was, well, not really late. It was later than I normally would. I was like 4.5 weeks when I found out I was pregnant with her. And I had kind of a feeling that I was pregnant, and I ended up hurting my back one night. So I ended up going to the ER to figure out why my back was hurting. He was like, any chance of pregnancy? And I was like, well, yeah, there is. And he's like, well, I can give you a pregnancy test. I don't think you are, but I'll just give you one. I was like, sure, go ahead and give me one. So he came back and he was like, well, sure enough, you're pregnant. And Josh was actually in the room with me, sitting in that little chair while I was laying there in the bed, and I just looked at him and we just smiled at each other. Like, I don't know, it was just a sweet moment. And that's all we thought about on our ride home, was we were expecting our first baby. It was crazy. And then with my next three, it was literally, I think I just took the test and came out of the bathroom crying. I know that for my fourth for sure, he was like, you're pregnant, aren't you? And I was like, yes. But after that, I try to start surprising him a little bit with everybody else. Like we give him like a little gift bag that had like little baby socks in it, or a little baby outfit. That's how I surprised him and the girls with number 5. Let's see if I do anything different. I think that was it. I think for the rest of them, it was just surprising him with like little baby outfits. No, number 7 it wasn't. Number 7, he just walked in and I actually had the pregnancy test in my hand and just smiled and showed him. So I do remember that one. Alright, the next one says, have you ever worked outside the home or before you and Josh got married? And yes, I have. Before we got married, I worked at Kmart. You heard me say that. I also worked at a preschool. After we got married, when Kylie was 1, I worked at a preschool, and then I've also worked at restaurants, either being a waitress or hosting. So yeah, I worked little odds and ends jobs before we got married and after we got married. I think once my oldest daughter was 2 is when I stopped working, just working any kind of job, and decided to stay home with her full time. We both agreed that was best, and I've just been able to stay home with them ever since then, thankfully. So after number 2 came along, Allie, I haven't worked a job since then, which I'm very thankful for. All right, next one says, biggest advice for starting a YouTube channel is just do it. Like, just go ahead and set up your account and go ahead and just start filming videos. Like, just go ahead and do it. That's what I done. I just went ahead and just jumped into it. I would play around with it here and there and just post like 3-minute things of random stuff. And then one day, I think it was in 2000 and 2020, when we moved here. As we were moving here, I decided to dedicate and to actually start being consistent. That's another thing, is being consistent, because people are more likely to watch you if they know when they can expect your videos. So be consistent, and when you're posting, know what you want to post about, because quality is totally above quantity. Even if you only post 1-2 videos a week, make sure those videos mean something. Make sure you are conveying the message that you want to, whether it's just your regular day in the life videos, or if it's just going to be about cooking, whatever it's going to be about. Just make sure that it's something that you would want to watch. Make sure it's good content that you're putting out there. All right, the next question would be, are you living in your forever home, or do you have other plans? As of right now, we are living in our forever home unless the Lord says otherwise, and then we'll move. But right now, in this moment, our forever home. What are your girls doing as far as curriculum for high school? So high school, they're doing Bob Jones, all things algebra, gather round for some of their units, and master books for pre-med science. So that's what my high schoolers are using. The next one says, why did you decide to homeschool your children? So I done a whole video on this, of why I decided to homeschool, and I will link that video in the description box below. It's actually the video titled, It's Not What You Think. So I will link that one below so that you can go check it out, because I explained all of that in that video. This next one says, are you going to try for a baby boy? When we get pregnant with a baby, we're not specifically trying for one another gender. We are very thankful for our girls, and if we have a 10th girl, we are very excited for that too. If we have a boy, we'll be excited for him as well. A lot of you don't know, but I was expecting a boy before Natalie came. Natalie's my number 7. I was expecting a boy and actually lost him. We went in for a 20-week anatomy scan and found out we had lost him 4 weeks earlier at 16 weeks, which was really, really heartbreaking. But just in case you didn't know, we were expecting a boy at one time. Next one says, why did you start your YouTube channel? So I started my YouTube channel as a hobby. I enjoyed making videos and putting them out there, and actually I would sit my camera down for months at a time. It would literally collect dust. And then Josh and the girls would always like encourage me, like, why don't you make a vlog today? You should do that so we can look back on these memories. And I was like, I guess. And I would pick it up and I would kind of carry it around if we were going somewhere. And I don't know, from there I just really started picking up the camera and really taking it serious and vlogging, and I so enjoy it. I enjoy it as a hobby. I enjoy encouraging other moms out there and interacting with the community of you that comment on my videos, y'all. I know that I don't get to respond back to comments right away, but y'all, they mean so much to me, and I read every single one of them. So thank y'all so much. When you comment on my videos, it helps me more than you know, and I love getting to know you. I've really gotten to know some of you, like really, just by your comments. But anyway, I think I have answered all the questions for the day. Some of those questions were a couple questions, like I said, so hopefully I can get Josh on here soon and we can do like a couple Q&A and answer some of those a little bit better for you. But anyway, I hope that I answered the questions that you have. If you have any more, just leave them in the comments below. I thank y'all so much for watching today's video. Like I said, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe before you leave, and I will talk to you in the comments.